Okay, Mrs. Gray and Jeter here, and let's walk through some problems of everything that we have learned so far about factoring. So, looking at here, remember, if we are given a multiple choice problem, you can always work backwards, meaning you can always just multiply, right? Every answer choice to see if what you get is up here. So that will definitely work. But we're gonna just take a look at factoring this. So the first thing we're gonna do is look at your coefficients, okay? Look at your coefficients. Do your coefficients have a greatest common factor? Well, yeah, they each can be divided by 3. So the first thing is I know I can take a 3 out. Now I'm gonna look at my variables. Well, they each have one x in common, and they each have one y in common. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to factor out a greatest common factor of 3xy. So I'm going to divide all of these by 3xy. And now when I do that, 18 divided by 3, that's 6. If I start with x squared and I take out one x, I'm left with an x and a y and a y. I have no more y's left. Now my middle term, negative 3xy divided by positive 3xy just gives me negative 1. And my last one, 6 divided by 3 gives me a positive 2. If I start with an x and I take out an x, I'm left with no more x's, and a y squared, take out a y, I'm left with y. And there is my answer with greatest common factor taken out. Here is this next one. Okay, this is one we can look at two ways. So first, we can play Xbox here. Okay, meaning we can identify our A value, our B value, and our C value. Well, my A value is always attached to that x squared, so that is 16. My B value is always attached to an x, singular x. Notice there's none there, so that one's 0. And my C value is 36, and then you can play Xbox, okay? The other way is, well, when I look at this problem, what do I notice? Well, one, I notice that the B value equals 0. The second thing is when I look at my A and C, I notice that they are perfect squares, okay? And then my third is that both of those are connected by subtraction. So in my mind, I'm thinking, do I have a difference of squares? Well, yeah. So remember, difference of squares, just take the square root of both sides. Square root of 16 is 4. I'm left with 1x. Square root of 36 is 6. And the difference of squares says one of my factors will be a positive 6, and one of my factors will be a negative side. And you would have gotten this the same way if you would have just played the Xbox. So here's one. We're going to do Xbox on this one. Here we'll identify our A value, our B value, our C value. Notice our A value is equal to 1, our B value negative 1, and our C value negative 12. So we're going to play Miss Gray's Xbox. Remember up top, A times C. We know A times C is negative 12, B is negative 1. So now we need to find two factors that will multiply to give us negative 12, but will add to give us negative 1. So I know 4 and 3, didn't mean to do that quite yet. 4 and 3. One of those has to be negative because I have a negative on the 12, a negative on the 1. Okay, now I'm not done yet. Remember, I just found those middle terms. Those are my B values. I can only do this when my A value is equal to 1. I'm simply going to split my X in 2. And I'm going to plug in what I got here in the middle. So one of these is going to be a negative 4. One is going to be a positive 3. And remember, we can check it by just multiplying it back in. X minus 4. X plus 3, so we're left with x squared minus 4x, 3x minus 12, and then pull it out of the box. X squared, I'm left with negative x, and I'm left with negative 12. Okay, here's my next one. On this one, my A value is greater than 1. But still I'm just still going to play Xbox A, B, and C. A is 9, B is 48, C is 64. So here, let's see, I'm going to have to do my A times C equals my B. My B value is 48. I am going to have to go into Desmos for me. I need to know my A times C value, so 9 times 64. Wow, that gives me 576. So you need to find two factors that will multiply to give us 576, but will add to give us 48. And here I have 24 and 24. Okay, I found that with Desmos. So now, here's where it's different. My A value is greater than 1. So I'm going to write my first term, 9x squared, my last term, plus 64. And then I'm going to just add these two terms in the middle. So I have plus 24. I need to add an x to it, plus 24, add an x to it. Remember, if I were to add both of these together, whoops, they give me that middle term, right? They're giving me that middle term. Now I'm just going to split these. I'm going to group them together, and I'm going to take out the greatest common factor. So 9x squared plus 24x. Well, I know they have a 3 in common, and the greatest common factor is an x. So if I divide 9 divided by 3, I'm left with 3x. 24 divided by 3 gives me 8, and I'm left with no x's. Now look at my second group, 24x and 64. They have a positive 8 in common. So 24x divided by 8 is 3x. 64 divided by 8 is 8. And here are my two factors. I know I'm on the right path because my parentheses match. So I'm left with 3x plus 8. And what I take out is a greatest common factor, 3x plus 8. Ah, they're both the same. So we're going to write this in even simpler form. Okay? Since 3x plus 8, 3x plus 8, they're both the same, it's simply going to be 3x plus 8 to the power of 2. Okay, so let's see which expressions are equivalent. So remember, when we have answer choices like these, we could work backwards. Okay, so meaning just multiply. But I'm going to take a look. 6, 12, and 18, well, they have a positive 6 in common. So I'm going to factor out a 6, meaning factor out the greatest common factor. I'm left with x squared minus 2x minus 3. Well, there's one. And now, well, I'm going to play Xbox here. So -3, -2, two factors that will multiply to give me -3, but will add to give me +2. And now I'm going to split my A value. I have x squared plus x, -3 plus -3, or -3x plus -3. Okay. And now I'm going to take out the greatest common factor. Well, I can only take an x, and so I'm left with x plus 1. I will take a -3. I'm left with x plus 1. So one of my factors is x minus 3. The other factor is x plus 1. And then remember, at the very beginning, I took out this 6. There is my other factor.